Hello, I'm Meghan Schiller from KDKA-TV News, and this is your KDKA News Now update. I've got your top headlines and the latest weather. The chief of Pittsburgh Police is responding to claims about his officers' effectiveness. Since redeploying Pittsburgh police staffing, Chief Larry Scarato says he's heard claims of skeletal patrols or officers not responding to calls, but he says that's not true. He tells KDKA lead investigator Andy Sheehan his reorganization is for the benefit of the public and his officers.
Chief Scarato is pushing back on reports that his redeployments have closed station houses and left the city unprotected for stretches at a time. He says his data-driven approach is actually making the city safer. Since becoming chief 10 months ago, Scarato has been tasked with doing more with less. With the number of officers dropping steadily over the past few years, the chief says he's employed data analytics to maximize their effectiveness.
We've been talking about this since the day they hired me. I just don't think people realize we were actually going to execute it.
The sweeping redeployment changes when officers work and how they work, now responding only to priority in-progress emergency calls like shootings and robberies, and referring non-emergencies like harassment and theft to a telephone reporting unit. Since data shows those most serious crimes occurred during the day, he shifted more officers into that time slot while decreasing those overnight. And to maximize those nighttime patrols, he's ordered desk officers to leave the station house.
From 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., there aren't desk officers. And in the past, there would have been. But I need those 6 officers out in patrol operations. So they're answering calls instead of sitting there.
The specter of empty station houses has drawn some concern, but Scarato denies reports that as few as a dozen officers have covered the city on some nights, saying the lowest number has been more than twice that. And he says the redeployments have allowed him to create high-impact special units to focus on problems downtown and on the south side while staffing violence prevention and fugitive units.
We are doing our job to keep the city safe, the residents within it, and our officers. And to do that, you have to make informed decisions.
Like the manager of a business or a sports team, Scarato says he's constantly reviewing the data and the analytics to see if the changes are effective and where shifts are needed. So far, he believes it's paying off. You're Moneyball, right? You're doing the best with the team you have.
And I have a great team. The officers, the men and women of this bureau do fantastic work on a day in, day out basis.
Now, the police bureau currently has 780 officers, far less than the 850 that are budgeted. Chief Scarato would like more officers, but he says with these changes, he has enough to keep the city safe. Reporting in the newsroom, Andy Sheehan, KDKA-TV News.
Tonight, we have a sad update for the eagle pair at the Hayes Bald Eagle Nest. The pair's only egg this season has cracked. The Audubon Society of Western PA tells me the mama bird made the upsetting discovery this morning. The upsetting discovery happened around 7 this morning. The eagle stood up and realized the egg had cracked sometime overnight. We asked the Audubon Society, how does this happen?
So there's a number of reasons that an egg might not be viable. The most, obvious is that the egg was never fertile to begin with. When the egg would have just been laid, they would have incubated it. And then if the development of the egg, didn't happen, then eventually that egg is just going to collapse in on itself.
Rachel Handel says a few people watching the Eagle Cam last night noticed what they described as a flat spot on the egg. So Handel says it's not a situation where the eagle could accidentally crack the egg.
The developing embryo would keep the egg in its intact form, which kind of, leads us to think that perhaps there was something wrong with the embryo development.
And Handel says this mama is experienced. She's been laying eggs for 10 years with only 1 or 2 not working out. Resourceful is one word to describe her.
There was one year where the nest tree actually fell down in a windstorm, and she and her partner hastily rebuilt a nest, had an egg, and still managed to raise an eaglet that particular year. So she is a great mom, and she is very skilled at raising her young.
This now cracked egg would have hatched early next week after 35 days of incubation.
So it's unlikely that they will lay another egg this year, just because of the amount of time that's transpired between that original egg being laid in February and now. So it seems unlikely that there will be another egg in haze this year.
Even though it's upsetting for everyone who closely watches the nest, Handel says the eagles seem to immediately move forward.
When the bird actually stood up this morning and looked down at the egg after incubating it overnight, you could tell that there was awareness that something was not right with the egg, and almost immediately the bird just flew off the nest. I think it was a very quick realization of what happened, and a realization that, it's time to move on from this. This didn't work out, but there's always next year.
And now here's First Alert meteorologist Ray Petlin with a look at your weather.
Another chilly day today, cold enough, especially up to the north where there's still some snow. You see Clarion to Kingsley, back to St. Mary's, some steady snowfall. So this is just north of I-80. Traveling south of I-80, we get into a little bit of a mixture before a transition to some light rain down into Indiana, down into Burrell. And then as you climb in elevation off to the east, you start to get back into snow south towards Johnstown, Cambria, even into Somerset. Still a couple flakes around. We also have some winds. They're more 5 to 15 mile per hour right now, but tomorrow we're going to get some gusty winds, 35 mile per hour gusts not out of the question, potentially even a couple 40 mile per hour gusts mixed in there. So we're not going to be able to ease up too much on the winds. We're going to keep the clouds with a couple of breaks trying to show up later tonight. So you see Washington, Wheeling, Cambridge, not with just overcast conditions being reported, but some breaks in the clouds. And we'll hopefully see a couple breaks tonight, but those are going to fill back in, I think, tomorrow. And they're pretty locked in at the moment. An overcast setup as we look from Mount Washington over the city. So quite a great day that we've had. Temperatures tonight go down to the low 30s and then return to the mid 40s for highs tomorrow. So a very similar day tomorrow to what we had today. So what's going to happen is our temperatures overnight are going to dip into the low to mid 30s. So most spots are going to be on the side of around freezing, if not just a little above. High temperatures tomorrow. These are going to return to the mid 40s, so very similar high temperatures to what we had today. But on top of that, we're going to throw in some winds. Wind gusts around 35 miles per hour, possibly up to 40 mile per hour wind gusts during the day tomorrow, especially while the sun's up. When the sun sets, usually those winds ease up a little bit. But sunshine is not going to be a big thing we get to see tomorrow. We're going to have plenty of clouds again. You'll notice the upper Great Lakes still have a little activity firing off of those. That is going to transition down towards us. So we're going to see that potential for some areas of rain and snow to develop. Tonight, that activity is going to be off to the east, sort of where we're finding it right now. Tomorrow, during the day, a spotty area of rain or snow, but I don't think there's going to be too much of that to go around. I don't think it's going to be an all day, all wet kind of thing for us. Tomorrow evening and into Thursday, we break up the clouds. We bring back a little sunshine, but the temperatures, I think, on Thursday are going to be quite chilly. And then Friday, the clouds come back, and later Friday, we see snow and rain chances trying to return. So 32 tonight, mostly cloudy skies, not quite as cold as it was the past couple of nights, but still a little on the chilly side, especially with the breezes that we're anticipating. Tomorrow, we get a high of 46. A cloudy day, spotty rain and snow, but I think the bigger things people are going to notice are the winds and the mostly cloudy skies. Sunshine on Thursday. That said, not very warm. We start off in the 20s and only top off at about 40 degrees, so a chilly day there. Friday, more on the mild side. After a cold start, we get back to the lower 50s. Later, we see some rain, some showers into early Saturday, and then we start to clear it up. I think the second part of Saturday looks a whole lot better, and the second part of the weekend looks fantastic. 50 degrees and sunshine for Sunday. There's a spring-like day for you. And then those temperatures keep warming up. 51 on Monday. Tuesday, looks like we're going to get into the 60s, but we're also going to see some spring showers.